I feel there's unsafe conditions. I would call Johnny, the head of FIFA, who's phenomenal, and I would say, let's move it to another location.
FIFA and the city of Boston in the US of A have responded to Donald Trump's threat to relocate games during next summer's World Cup.
We are literally hosting 30 to 40 Super Bowl equivalents in the city of Vancouver over a month-long period.
Soccer's world governing body is sending a strong message to President Trump about the 2026 World Cup games. The vice president of FIFA reacted to the president's claim that he can move matches out of U.S. cities that he considers dangerous.
On October 14, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump publicly threatened to move matches of the 2026 FIFA World Cup out of the Boston region, claiming safety concerns in the host area.
If somebody is doing a bad job, and if I feel there's unsafe conditions, I would call Johnny, the head of FIFA, who's phenomenal, and I would say, let's move it to another location. And he would do that. He wouldn't love to do it, but he'd do it. Very easily he'd do it.
This startling intervention comes as the tournament, co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, approaches with a record 48 teams and 104 matches. The implication: one of world football's premier events may be dragged into U.S. domestic political tensions. The United States, alongside Canada and Mexico, secured hosting rights in June 2018 for the 2026 World Cup, marking the first time 3 nations will stage the tournament.
We are literally hosting 30 to 40 Super Bowl equivalents in the city of Vancouver over a month-long period.
Trump now sits at the center of a dispute over whether cities earmarked to stage matches remain viable. His comments have reignited questions over American readiness, from security and infrastructure to the visa process and global image. Subscribe for verified global updates. At stake is not just the logistics of staging matches, but the credibility of the United States as a host in an era of heightened scrutiny. The North American bid projected an economic impact of $17.2 billion in US GDP alone, with a global contribution of around $40.9 billion. The host city list announced in June 2022 includes 16 cities, 11 in the US, 3 in Mexico, and 2 in Canada. These venues were selected under the premise of a stable environment for an event of unprecedented scale. However, US cities face mounting pressure. Gun violence in the United States has been flagged as a serious obstacle. A recent commentary noted the country's firearm-related death toll exceeded 46,000 in 2023 and warned these statistics pose significant challenges in ensuring comprehensive security for any public gathering. These concerns are more than rhetorical. Studies show that 7% of tourists cancelled trips to the US, citing gun violence fears, creating a potential economic hit of $250 million. President Trump's comments sharpened the focus. He suggested he could call FIFA President Gianni Infantino and demand match relocations from cities like Boston, San Francisco, and Seattle, citing crime and street takeovers. Yet FIFA Vice President Victor Montagliani responded that only the organization holds that authority, and the hosting rights were locked in since 2022. Beyond safety and politics, logistical and regulatory issues loom large.
Well, we had a great meeting with Prime Minister Carney here in Ottawa today. We want the whole country to feel this World Cup.
We are so excited and honored to be co-hosting the World Cup with the United States, Mexico.
The United States still operates varying visa regimes and travel bans, which may affect fans and teams alike. With matches spanning 16 cities and 3 countries, coordination of border crossings and infrastructure will demand unprecedented planning. The Trump administration itself, in March 2025, issued an executive order establishing a White House-led task force to oversee preparations for the event, signifying federal commitment but also politics. The duality is clear. While the US seeks prestige, it must also address domestic priorities. For fans and broadcasters, the symbol of stability matters. The final match of the tournament is scheduled to take place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, on the 19th of July 2026. Meanwhile, ticket sales have soared. More than 1 million tickets were sold in the first phase, drawing buyers from 212 countries. Behind the scenes, host city planners emphasized that the agreements with FIFA involve multiple layers of legal, security, and financial commitments. Any changes now would be immensely costly. In response to mounting pressure, FIFA reinforced its independence on the 3rd of October 2025. Decisions about match locations fall strictly under FIFA's jurisdiction, not political influence, stated Vice President Montagliani. This statement came after Trump's earlier remarks suggested he could influence changes. The rebuttal signals an internal tug-of-war between political theater and tournament logistics. As the 2026 World Cup approaches, the United States finds itself under the microscope not just for its stadiums and infrastructure but for its domestic political climate. Analysts warn that unresolved security perceptions and political interference could erode the anticipated economic windfall of billions of dollars. Yet the global machinery of the event remains locked in motion. Buckle up. The question is no longer if the tournament will happen, but whether it will happen as planned. You're watching Maple States, where verified facts meet sharp analysis.